So that's the rundown here. And good morning to Mike, Bob, Brown, Bill, and Henry. So over to Mike. Sounds like you may have changed your mic, Mike, since the first time I heard you. W7MS, W6MQI.
Well, thanks, Dave. W6MQI, W7MS. Mike and Reno. But yes, I changed the microphone and changed the operating position. First attempt was with the 30K5, and I had a little flash bang, which has happened before. And rather than pursue that issue on my first cup of coffee, we decided to change to something else. So we're running the HF80 equipment, AME, 250 watts of carrier with upper sideband, and a classic noise-canceling microphone. And my lip is up on the bridge of the microphone, so I'm sure I'm in the official operating position for this microphone. But good signals from everybody, and good morning to, of course, you, Dave, and Bob, and Brown, and I'm not quite sure who else is here. Well, we know Net Control is here, and good morning, Chuck. And the first thing I noticed on your transmission there earlier this morning was the fact I said he's still using the D104. You sound great. So with that, and my apologies to anybody else that I've missed with morning salutations. Over to Bob, W6AQU, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, thank you. W7MS. And the forming group, W6Able Queen Uncle in Montague. Well, slightly breezy, sun's up. Dogs outside frolicking. Breakfast is on its way. Things are looking good so far this morning. Well, let's see. Microphones. Well, I don't have good reports on microphones. I know Chuck came up with that contraption last week, and he's using it again this morning, and it doesn't work for me over here, Chuck. I don't know. Probably my ears, but and the same goes to you, Mike, and your microphone. Does not sound well to me either. But we'll find out what someone else has to say. And Mr. Brown, I could have used you to unload that thing, you know. It didn't get unloaded for a while. And eventually it did, and it's sitting in the #1 bench in the main radio room out there. And I did plug it in to make sure it still worked, but it's not operational as yet. Bill, Half Moon Bay. Well, you're maybe a Q3 and a S3 maybe, Bill, but that's better than sometimes. I don't know what it is about the path from here to Half Moon Bay. It does not seem well. Good morning to you, Henry. You're not as strong as Mike for some reason, but anyhow, I did copy you. Well, Chuck, you mentioned that you're on an ART-13. I do have one out there that's online. It would be operational. Just a couple more watts and maybe some better audio than I'm using here on this thing. But maybe next time. So let's go back 15 years when we used to, everybody it seems like had an ART-13, and Henry and I started to talk about this. Back in the good old days where there were, Chuck, you might remember this, there were the ART-13 shootouts. So with that, over to Mr. Beezer, MZR. Take it away. This is W6Able Queen Uncle.
Okay, Bob, very good. W6AQU and the military nest, W1NZR/6 out here in greater southeastern suburban Dixon. Pretty good conditions. Good booming in here. Wonder if, I think you're on your ART-13. Mike, the HF-80 just sounds wonderful. What a fine, fine setup. I need to get mine together back east. I have all the components and have for a number of years, but I need to get around to it to put it together. But sounds good. I'm on the old reliable GRC-19 here into the random wire antenna, so hope I'm being heard. And so far, it's going to be a pleasant day here in Dixon. Sunny, not too hot. But anyway, good to be out here and good to be on the radio. So I'll hand it over to Bill. If he's copying, Bill, I'm having a little trouble with you, but I know you're in there. Probably the same with me here, with relatively low power and not a great antenna. And the antenna is sorry about the wind, etc. I haven't done anything to it, but I do need to get it to a better elevation. N6 BCT and the Milrad net from W1NZR. Go ahead, Bill.
California, so that's a little bit better. If I have my own car up there, I'd be in front, but I don't. I'm down here and half on the so that's here. Anyway, I'm still running the same old thing. The Yankee left me one in and so that's the story there. Anyway, I always practice plans that stick them on the telephone. I'm not sure if that's the first year. So that's the story there. So it's always Okay, Bill. N6 BCT WA7 YBS. Okay, 100% copy on all stations. And pretty good signals. There's Bill was 100% copy, no problem. 25 watts, same old rig. Doing okay in here. Anyway. And Brown pounded in here on the GRC-19. Good signal. Despite the antenna, good signal. And Bob, a little bit of QSB on Bob, could tell you're quite a bit further away, but still Q5, S9, somewhere around there anyway, so pretty good. Mike is pounding in here, and so is Dave. They're the two strongest signals, other than Chuck. And we're on the Collins 32V3 running. Last time I checked, I don't know if I believe the watt meter on. It says 120 watts. It's always run about 110 or 115. And, I have a perfect match. Well, it is on 115 now. What can I say? Oh, well. That's what you get for relying on a great W4 watt meter. Not exactly known for the best accuracy, but hey, they're convenient to use, and they got a nice big meter that's easy to see from a distance away. And listening on the Royal Army Raycal receiver, the RA-17L Mark III, a 1964 receiver. Triple conversion, of course, wobbly loop, all the good stuff that you expect from Raycal, courtesy of Dr. Trevor Wadley. And so, antenna is the collinear array, and which is essentially it's about 240 feet now. Center fed with 108 feet of feed line. And we are working on getting the shop antenna up. I have the legs cut 66 feet on each leg. maybe 132-foot antenna fed with 77 feet of open feed line, and it runs 30 feet off the ground, which is a big improvement from where I used to run this antenna, the 135-foot one, which is now going to be 132 feet. But hey, you know, a locust tree fell on top of that antenna on New Year's Eve here just 6 months ago, so what can you expect? I had to do a little trimming on the antenna wire to get it. I know, why don't you buy new wire? Well, what can I say? It was already cut. It's, you know, in pretty good shape, except where the tree fell on it. Anyway, that's what we're going to use. And let's see, that, weather, it was 62 degrees this morning. It is fairly clear, clouds here and there, but nothing serious. Probably be 90, 92, something like that today. And not bad. Typical summer weather. Back to Chuck, K0DWC WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry, WA7YBS, K0DWC. All right, very good. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with anybody. Mike at HF80 is working fantastic. Brown with the GRC19, fantastic. Henry, you're pounding in. Bill's Q5 copy. Dave's pounding in here, and so is Bob. So Bob was really cutting through what little bit of noise I have. Right now my noise level is low, but I don't know what it is with Bob with his audio, because even when the last couple of weeks when we've been on, we had some QSB. Bob's audio would just cut through that stuff like a hot knife through butter. It was just amazing. You know, he just barreled right through all that QSB. You know, he was 100% copy. So, way to go, Bob. All righty. All right. Let's see if there's anybody else that wants to get on the tail end of the first round here and be number 7. If you'd like to check in now, go ahead.
W6SSP. WA6OPE.
Okay, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Steve, and good morning, Tom. Steve, I've got you in the number 7 spot. Okay, let's see. Is there anybody else that would like to check in tail end first round? Be number 9. Come now. Okay, nothing heard. So, Steve, go ahead and make a transmission there, and then send it on down to Tom, and then Tom, you can send it back up to me, K0DWC. So W6SSP with WA6OPE in the group. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. And good morning, everybody. I've been answering for quite a while, but between 7 and about 7:20, had horrendous noise here. I don't know what the heck it was, but it was like S6, pretty bad. All of a sudden it went away, so we'll see what happens. Good signals from pretty much everybody. Chuck, you're the weakest, followed by Bill, but everybody else is really in here. Anywho, this is Steve, just north of Santa Rosa, using the usual columns, 32V1 transmitter and 75A1 receiver. If you want to look for Mike into a bent 75-meter dipole about 30 feet up. And let's see, we'll turn it over to Tom. WA6OPE, W6SSP.
Okay, W6SSP, WA6OPE, good morning to everybody. Tom in beautiful Richmond on the usual boring U.S. Navy World War II setup there with a TCM transmitter and the RBC receiver, running about 65 watts into the antenna, which is still the temporary makeshift antenna. And I have a new SCR in the neighborhood. I think it's at a neighbor's house, and it's a Ripple. And I didn't know they even had crappy SCRs like that anymore. I thought they weren't as bad as they used to be, but boy, this one, maybe it's an urban. Noise limiters on the RBC, but I could still hear that annoying SCR noise. Anyway, good morning. Signal reports. I've been listening for a while and debating about whether to jump in here or not because of conditions. I hear most of the stations pretty well. Noise level is affecting some of the weaker stations. MQI is leader of the pack. As usual, W7MS was Q5. QU was Q5. Brown, good morning to you, Brown. Q5, no problem. No copy on N6BCT. WA7YBS was mostly Q5, but occasionally the QSB went down to about Q3. And SSB is Q5, and the net control is about Q3, sometimes whatever. The carrier is there, but sounds like about maybe 70% modulation and kind of muffled too. But otherwise, the carrier strength is almost the same as Henry strength. So that's the signal reports. The weather here, cool and gray, just the way we like it. The wind, not so much, been windy here a lot lately. Sea breeze from the ocean. This morning we have, it looks like a little bit of high fog, but also some clouds and stuff too. So the fog, the last couple of days, the fog hasn't been, and it's been burning off pretty early. By 10 o'clock, the fog's gone. And just nice, really nice days, but windy and cool. In fact, I was in the backyard working on the antenna project, and I had to wear a jacket. It was so cold. And Andy tells me that it was over 100. It's over 100 a lot of places in California. Okay, that's the rundown. Back to net control. K0DWC, WA6LPE.
Okay, Tom. WA6LPE, K0DWC. Yeah, I know you're probably having some difficulty this morning with all that noise and stuff, but we appreciate you being there, man. Thanks for showing up. It's appreciated as usual. So hopefully it'll get better, but I don't know. Cross the fingers, I guess. One last call. Anybody want to be number 9 for the first round? If not, I'm going to go ahead and start round 2. If you'd like to check in now, come now. Okay, nothing heard, so let's go ahead and send it back on up to Dave, W6MQI, in Livermore, California. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, Chuck, K0DWC, W6MQI. Yeah, Liver Gulch, Livermore, California. Lovely place.
Well, it's not that bad.
Hey, good morning to Steve and Tom. Both signals are sounding good here in Livermore. And yeah, I got some pretty deep QSB here at Tom's truck. You almost fade away, then you come up. But luckily, I don't have the SCR noise that Tom has. That would suck. I've got some noise canceling antennas here, but rarely ever have to use them. I just use the standard dipole that I got, and everything's fine. So, but anyway, let's see. What have I been doing around here? I worked on my TRC 77. I don't know if I mentioned that last week or not. I had to replace the output loading coil. It was a ferrite type or powder iron core or whatever it was, with enamel wire with I don't know, 70 or 80 turns with multiple taps. I had to pull the whole front end of the radio off just to get to the switch that this loading coil was attached to. And I got the switch out and unsoldered the loading coil and drew pictures, took pictures, and rewound it, and stuck it back in there, and it worked. So that was good. Yeah, the old one developed a short. In fact, when you transmit, you turn the lights off, you can see the glow between the windings arcing. So all it takes is a pinhole in that enamel, and that's the end of that. So that's what was going on with that. But anyway, fixed that, and still haven't pulled my good tubes out of my first GRC 106 amplifier to prove that the tubes in the second one are bad, which I think they are. So I gotta, one of these days, get the ambition to do that. If that is the case, I'm gonna have to give maybe Mr. Dave Green a call, see if I can grab a couple tubes, or I don't know. If anybody has some spare 4CX 350s laying around, might be interested. Either that, I'm destined to go buy some from RF Parts for $250. Well, don't want enough that to do that. Anyway, I'll probably have to give Mr. Dave Green a call. And oh man, what a hassle trying to get to that stuff he's got. That reminds me, Brown. You still thinking about one of those shelters, or did you give up on that idea? Interested to know. But anyway, that's all that's going on here. And weather's crappy. It's been windier than hell. It's overcast right now, 58 degrees. It's supposed to get like 72 or something today, but it's supposed to start warming up towards the end of the week, up to in the 90s. So I'm looking forward to that. So over to Michael. W7MS, W6MQI.
Well, thank you, Dave. W6MQI and the Sunday Morning Military Net, W7MS. Well, good reception from all. I think Bob being the lightest, but with a little attentive listening, he's still Q5. And, of course, it's always a pleasure to hear N6BCT Q5. So, good morning, Bill. Making the trip to Reno and the current equipment in use. And so good morning to Bill, Henry, Steve, and Tom. And sorry to hear that Tom is having continuing issues and also being somewhat hamstrung with the temporary antenna. So he's double whammy for Tom. But thank you for hopefully hearing us, or hearing some of us, and being patient with your current challenges. And I was chuckling at Henry's full disclosure that he's using a Drake W4, but it's a big meter and you can see it from a distance. Well, that's important, very important, especially as we advance and as our equipment matures, let's say. But that's great. Brown, great on the GRC 19, looks good, sounded good here in Reno. And Bob, I appreciate your microphone critiques, and no issue with that. And Dave, on the loading coil, good job on that. Sure that's with some patience and some brain surgery to get that completed. In the GRC 106 projects, there's some coincidental in-phase situation occurring today, so there may be some further comments on that. But I do have an array of GRC 106 PA poles, condition unknown, and out in the garage. So if you reach that point, let me know, and we can send you a few. Of course, no guarantee, and keep your finger crossed. But generally, I love ceramic tubes. They're rarely gassy, and internal shorts can be quite obvious just with an ohmmeter check. And if they're flat, and you don't have equipment damaged, as opposed to glass tubes, which can do all kinds of exciting things, like our infamous 3500Zs. Quite a light show, and keep a case of fuses handy. But let me see, a few comments here. I don't have to worry about sleeping in. One of our local great horned owls decides to do its daylight roost in my Siberian elm tree, which is adjacent to the house and close to the bedroom. And what happens is there are also some robins that are nesting in the area. So guess what? As soon as the sun comes up, the owl is mobbed by the robins, and I've never appreciated just how much noise robins can create, and they will be there all day long mobbing that owl, and the owl will just ignore them. But guess what? At dark 30, with the windows open, it's one hell of an alarm clock. That's all I can say on that. And maybe we'll save the radio project comments for the next round, but we'll keep things rolling. So hopefully, Bob, can you hear me, Bob? W6AQU, W7MS.
Okay, Mike. W7MS in the group. W6 Able Queen Uncle. Well, there's a correction on your audio report. After watching and listening to this, I think it's phase distortion. There's periods where you have excellent audio, and it's a period when your strength drops way down. If you're holding on the average 20 over, so let's blame it on that, which is, I think, logical. All right, let's see. Good morning to Steve in Santa Rosa. You're a pretty good signal over here, or down here, or up here. Let's see, you must be southwest of us, I believe. We're right near the Oregon border. An OPE on the Olympic line. There's still Q5 up here. That's a bummer on that interference that you've got. That would drive me crazy, something like that, but fortunately we don't have anybody close by to create something like that. Let's see here. I'll just keep it going here. I don't know how well my signal is going to hold up as the sun gets higher up here. So, MZR. I wonder how long you're going to be out this time before you're going back across the country again. W1MZR, this is W6, Able Queen Uncle.
Okay, very good, Bob. W6AQU and the assembled mass, W1NZR returning. Yeah, Bob, I'm out here for not quite a week this trip. I came in on the 5th. Working down in the Bay Area. I will be again tomorrow, but I'm going to go back east on Tuesday. But it's good to be here on a Sunday morning, and a very good morning to Steve and Tom. It's nice to hear the TCM. What a fine radio that is, although it has a large amount of mass and more meters than you can count. I had one a number of years ago that I got talked out of, but I do remember hauling the thing in my shack back east up to the second floor, up to Radio 2. I wouldn't want to do that now, but it's good to hear yours on. And Steve, good morning to you. 32V1 sounding very good over here. And Henry, good morning to you. And I know you're the 32V really pounding in as well over here, but conditions generally quite good. The only one I was having a little trouble with was Bill, but glad to be here. And Dave, you're actually the channel master this morning. And you mentioned Mr. Green. Well, I'm going to be heading over to his place a little later today. In fact, I was on earlier. I guess there's a group that gets on 3865 on sideband every morning, and I did join them before checking into this net. So, yeah, I actually did sign up for the shelter, actually because my friend Chris here, who has this property, expressed an interest in it. So, at some point, we'll retrieve it. I think today is just going to be a reconnaissance because the shelter is buried in the middle of all of his trailers, and it's finally dried out enough where he can get a forklift in there. So we're going to work on that a little bit. but I'll see how many GRC 106 components he still has. I'm fairly certain that there's still a semi-trailer load of them there. So, anyway, okay. Bill, I hope you can copy me, because it's coming down to you. N6BCT, and I may need a relay, and the group from W1NZR. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, W1NZR. You're really strong signal into the SDR receiver, so no problem talking to you. Anyway, so that's the story there. And yeah, like I remember, 4W1 NZR, that's a nice call. And I did hope W1 when I was Okay, Bill. N6BCT WA7 YPS is 7 land. And, okay. Well, 100% copy on everybody. Still, conditions haven't changed too much here. So, that's good. But it is, it's going to happen eventually. So, okay, on the adventures of going forklift to get the shelter out. That's interesting. But yeah, mud. Yeah, it's still muddy around here. Not real bad, but the closer you get to the river, muddier it gets. I still have to be careful mowing. Can't go real close down there anymore. Maybe August. That sounds like a good time. Maybe August. My drive. The river is still over 10 feet. Normally this time of year it's about 3 feet, maybe 3.5 feet. The river's still 2.5 times higher than it normally is. This is Carson River, 600 feet to the south of us. And so, yeah, it's been running that or more for months now. So, yeah, it's a lot of water. And, okay, let's see. The W6 MIT Big Rig transmitter report. It's alive. It's working. 400 watts input power, 300 watts out. And, oh, what a light show. It is incredible. That transmitter, I mean, it's got a window to look at the 4-250A. It's got another window to look at the 572Bs. And it's got lots of meters, and every switch on it is a push button that illuminates. And so it's quite a light show when it's all lit up. Very impressive. A little bit of, there was no procedure. All I had, was kind of notes that was in the book there in the schematics. So, you just kind of have to use, typical, with a homebrew rig, you just kind of have to figure out what they were doing. But with John being, it's like professionally engineered, it was really no problem. It all loaded up exactly as one would expect. And so it's doing RF quite well. As far as audio, well, I have modulator idling current, and so that's good. And but The design of the transmitter requires a separate speech amplifier. Of course, John had all of this big audio chain like got in a broadcast station, and I'm not going to do that. I have a Bogan public address amplifier coming, and it's coming from Arkansas. Anyway, those suckers do 100 watts. They're all solid state. Of course, they're designed for voice, voice and public address, and there's 4 channels, controllable, built-in compressor, speech compressor, and a built-in 10-band equalizer. And the thing that's great about them being public address is the audiophiles aren't interested in them. So, $59 for a 100-watt amplifier, just because of the name, Bogan. Maybe there's a reason. We'll find out next week when it gets here. But anyway, that's the plan, is to drive the big rig with a... of course, you don't need 100 watts to drive it. That's, just what this amp happened to be. And John was using 50 watts, and I don't think he needed that much. But he had a 50-watt Macintosh. And if I wanted to emulate that or, try to get a 50-watt Macintosh, yeah, I don't think so. Definitely would cost a lot more than I would be wanting to spend for audio that I don't need. So anyway, that's the report on the big rig. It's alive. It's producing RF into a dummy load. Looks impressive. So anyway, if everything goes with the audio chain as expected, we should be on in a couple weeks with it. So we'll see. Over to Steve, W6SSP, WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry, thank you very much. Yeah, you were just above and below the noise. I caught part of it, something about a big transmitter and 300 watts and external speech amp, but that's about it. Too bad. I enjoy listening to what you're working on and hearing about your projects and stuff. So anyway, conditions are up and down here. Dave, Mike, and Brown, plus you guys are, like I said, just above and just below the noise. So, but we're always dealing with a high noise level at this location. Between that and conditions, that's just the way it goes. Well, projects this week, mostly working on the TCS AC supply. Finally got that thing on the bench, so that was not easy. At 91 pounds. And found a couple of really weird things. A couple of modifications were made, one of which shorted out the choke. I don't think he intended to do that, but that's what it turned out to be, even though the choke was perfectly fine. So everything back to the way it should be, and it works. There are 8 4 microfarad at 600 volt caps on the thing. 6 of them were leaking oil all over the place, so that was kind of a mess. That was a big part of the restoration, was cleaning up the oil. And anyway, got those replaced with new caps, and it's working. So this week, hope to get the receiver and the transmitter hooked up, and the whole system connected up for the first time. Turns out I have the original mic for it too, which I didn't realize. And also, going through the cables, I found out that there were 2 sets of cables. One was apparently homebrew, the other one is original. So that's great. We'll have a second set of TCS transmitter and receivers with the dynamo supply. So maybe at some point I'll have both of them set up under the AC supply and the dynamo supply. So other than that, it's been kind of an exciting week. K0 had a mild stroke last Sunday, so she spent 2 days in the ER over that. That was a first for us, but she's fine now. It was a very mild thing, so but quite a bit of excitement. But kind of excitement you can do without. So things looking good on this end. It's level 3. It's about 46 here right now. So it'll be warming up later on this afternoon with some wind, I suppose. So, over to Tom, WA6OPE, W6SSP.
Okay. SSP-WA60PE. Conditions are slowly deteriorating. The Nevada stations are down, and UMass is doing okay. But Henry and Chuck are kind of in and out of the noise. And whatever the new SCR is, it might be a dimmer or something anyway. Somebody turned it off. Thank God for that. Although now I still hear the other noise mixed in with some broadband crud and a bunch of other crud. Well, let's see here. GRC 106 shelters. Yeah, that sounds interesting, Brown. I'll tell you what, if I lived out there in that Dixon spot, out there in the middle of radio land, I would have two of those shelters. One of them would be GRC 19 or GRC 46, and the other one would be GRC 106. And I'd have one of them with all the rat stuff in it. And, then I'd have one of those 28-volt generators also that goes with that. That'd be pretty sweet. So anyway, good luck on your reconnaissance mission today. Dodge the rattlesnake. There's probably a rattlesnake under every shelter up there in that country this time of year. Oh, man. And, anyway, that sounds like a fun project. That would be, on Dave's problem with that GRC 106 on sideband with a super wide signal. It'd be very interesting to try another one or two, and then compare the differences. See if they're all like that. Who knows, huh? Anyway, sounds like fun. SSP type. Sorry to hear about your XYL. That's not a good thing. That kind of stuff, this getting old stuff is, still a burn. And I exchanged emails with Ron, NU67. Yesterday, he's hanging in there. And he's got some problems, some health problems, and whatever. So we shall see. I got my fingers crossed. He's still on the air working with the board, but not doing quite as physical work that he usually does when he's there at the Azores. But anyway, he said to say hello to everybody on the net. So that's what I'm doing. And let's see, what else? I think that's about it that I was going to comment on this time this go around. Yeah, right. Henry, I would have liked to have heard more about that MIT transmitter too, but yeah, signals are not good. So up and down, and plus my noise. Get that antenna back up again. I think there might be a reroute, a slight reroute or whatever to get my antenna wire as far away from the noise source as possible, which appears to be the neighbor's house. And anyway, we've been doing some noise checking, running around with the portable receiver, looking for stuff and finding it. But it all seems to be coming from one spot. Maybe I should get a big drone. Anyway, 73, everybody. I'm gonna cut out here and go do some other interesting stuff. Waiting for a phone call and want some stuff. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, 73. So listen out. Back to net. Your copy at K0DWC WA60PE.
Okay, Tom, WA60PE, K0DWC. Well, 7-3 is my friend, and have a good, safe day today, and good week ahead. And I don't know, your signal actually picked up this last time. Like like we've been talking about, the QSB starting to set in, but for some reason you broke through it this last transmission. So 100% copy. So anyway, okay, Tom, we'll catch you next weekend. All right, guys, let's see here real quick. Steve, I'm glad your SYL is doing okay. A stroke's a pretty scary thing, and give her our very best for us, will you? Hopefully she'll get over it, and rebound and be in good shape. So prayers out for her as well. So anyway, good progress also, Steve, on the TCSs there. Maybe when the conditions get better, maybe in the fall or something, we can all get on with some low power rigs and see how many TCSs and stuff we can get. But anyway, yeah, congratulations on the restoration and everything, and the continued work on the TCSs. I know Mike's going to have some TCS work to do if he hasn't already done it. Mike doesn't seem to waste any time either when he gets stuff, so won't be long and Mike will have his on the air. So anyway, okay guys, let's go ahead and do the 7-3 round. 7-3s again to Tom, and we'll start back up at the top, and we'll do a quick 7-3 round before the QSB really drops the anvil on us. So W6MQI, go ahead and take it. This is K0DWC. 7-3 round, fellas.
Alrighty, K0DWC W6MQI. Yeah, I'm copying you fine that time, Chuck, but yep, we're starting to lose it here. So, and yep, Steve, sorry to hear about your wife. Hopefully she gets better here soon. And 5 minutes on your TCS adventures, and yeah, like Chuck says, we need to get a bunch of them on the air. I got one. I know a lot of people have them, so that'd be fun. Have a little TCS shootout there. And Henry, man, that W6MIT guy, I never met him. You know, I think I may have worked him one time on 900 megs, if I'm thinking right. Not sure if he did. He was going to a 10 gig contest, 10 gigahertz, and I talked to him on 900 megs. I think it was him, but I might be mistaken. But yeah, the guy sounds like quite the builder. Hopefully you can post some pictures sometime of that transmitter. Sounds beautiful. And Brown, yeah, let Mr. Dave Green shelter. Well, let me know and I'll go up there. Maybe I can take advantage of that, of him taking apart Mount Everest to get to your shelter. Maybe that'll create a variation to get to the GRC 106 pile that might be a little easier to get to than the route that I had to take. Because that's not fun, carrying a 70-pound amplifier through the maze to get back out. He was helping me, and we were taking multiple breaks as we carried these things to get them out of there. Not fun. So, yeah, let me know when you go. Maybe I'll see if I can, if it's during the week, I can take some time off or a weekend or whatever it is, and I'll go up there. But anyway, guys, 73, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Over to Michael, W7MS, W6MQI.
Well, thanks, Dave. W6MQI and the Sunday morning military net, W7MS. Well, still good reception from all with no exceptions. Some folks are doing better than others, but appreciate Bob's comments on phase distortion. And it seems like my experience, especially listening to some of my AME signals on the N9 AMI wavelength radio replays there on YouTube, it seems to be more, phase distortion seems to be more effective in a negative sense with an AME transmission. So hopefully you're receiving a strong carrier without phase distortion or versus a strong carrier with phase distortion, which is kind of not productive to the person that has to listen to it. But great comments. Yeah, Brown's going to be headed off to an adventure, and hopefully sometime in the future maybe I can join in on the adventure, but it's not going to be today. And let me see, I enjoyed Henry's comments on the Carson River. I guess not to go ghoulish, but I think they found one of the kayakers somewhere in Carson/Brunswick Canyon, and I think body number 2 is still to be discovered, but that was quite a shock that somebody would be foolish enough with the high water flow to go kayaking, and these guys look more like pudgy, middle-aged men rather than whitewater kayakers. So I think it's what a tragedy for there. But a greater tragedy would be to see somebody floating by your place. But I think they're definitely going to be upriver. Great on the light show. The Bogan PA amp. That brings to mind my score, and that was the Bogan monoblocks, which are high fidelity, a little bit higher distortion. I think they approach maybe 1%, but those are connected to my Clips Cornwalls. And the story was basically I was 5 minutes ahead of Ethan because they would have been up on eBay in a flash, and it was great to have gotten the man. Beat him to the Bogan monoblocks. But let me see here. Comments on the GRC 106. I think Dave and I in the past had communicated. I definitely see a hump in the transmit bandpass. It's a lot of synthesizer crap and synthesizer noise, but it still was 30 to 40 dB below the desired transmit carrier. Or sideband, I should say, but it's definitely prominent, and I don't know if that's due to basic design of an early synthesizer or whether it's an aging cal issue. And if that's the issue, man, you could probably chase that rat down the rabbit hole forever on that one. So whatever you're doing, Dave, continue on. And great on the TCSs. Appreciate comments from Chuck. No, I haven't gotten to that yet because I've been enamored with that darn RF Communications RF301 commercial military transceiver. So that's been on the bench for a couple of weeks. And I could probably write a novel on all the issues that I've discovered. And you know, so all the ports radio. Fully understand that, but it's basically like, I'm not going to, just like Dave and the GRC 106, I'm not going to let the RF 301 win, but I may have to call a truce eventually, but I think we're making some forward progression, but it's not, the summer offensive on the RF 301 is not progressing as fast as I had hoped, but it's all fun, it's only amateur radio. So, and also for Steve, good recovery for your wife, and continued good health for the both of you. That's what we can say. Tom's going to fire up a drone to do some RFI research, but I was chuckling too that he maybe needs the Ukrainian version with a hand grenade attached to take care of his most recent RFI issues. So with that 7.3s, we'll listen out. And over to Bob, W6AQU, W7MS.
Very good, Mike. W7MS, W6AQU. Well, that's a good idea. Good suggestion there on the hand grenade and the drone. Yeah, that way you wouldn't have a return problem. Well, signals are still moving up here, believe it or not. Chuck is starting to drop down a little bit, but fairly fine. And Dave continues to have the strongest, loudest signal. No phase distortion there, Mike. All right. Well, I spent a lot of time on playing with the shelter. I didn't understand where that shelter is located. The last shelter that I knew about you getting was across the border up here in Mike's backyard. But I think that was just a shell. I don't think there was any piece or parts left inside of that. Henry, that sounds fun to have a river in the backyard like that. Until it keeps creeping up. the days of you getting your tractor stuck. Yeah. A lot of fun. I wish I had a river. Okay, with that, I guess we're going to also say 7-3s. OPE's gone. SST is still loud and clear up here. Well, good morning to all. Double 1MZR. This is W6 Able Coin Uncle in Montague. Good morning.
Okay, Bob, very good. Unfortunately, propagation changing, losing you. You were just above the noise. Didn't get too much of that, but not much more from here. Let's see, a couple things. Steve, very good on your TCS set. And, of course, wishing the best for a speedy recovery for your wife. But very good on the TCS. Be nice to hear that. And, yeah, those AC power supplies are not for the faint of heart, but glad that you're working on it. Anyway, Chuck, thank you very much for running the net, as always, and very good to hear all of you fellows. Next time I'll be back here probably in 2 or 3 weeks, but always a pleasure, and thanks for letting me in. So with that, down to Bill, and a very good 73 to all. N6BCT and the net from W1NZR. Very good morning.
Okay, Bill, N6BCD, WA7YBS. Yeah, I got your email, Bill, and yeah, that was interesting. If he hangs up, call him back. Just keep doing that till it works. I do have caller ID, you know. I don't know if John does on his end, but it will ID, but it ID's in XYL's name. But that's okay. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I do. I just want to say thanks for passing that along. And so with that, let's see. I guess I'll say 73 before the band goes and turn it over to Steve. W6SSD, WA7YBS.
Okay, thank you, Henry.
Anyway, I think I'm still in the air. Thank you very much, everybody, for the good wishes. Mike's family has recovered fully. It was a very, very minor stroke. Just more of a wake-up call than anything else. And for those that aren't aware of the signs of a stroke, I strongly suggest you look it up on the internet. It's one of those things that can come out of the blue with absolutely no warning sign, and you have a little bit of time to get to the emergency room when it does happen. It's really important to know, especially at the age many of us are at. It's not a fun thing when getting old does stuff. For sure. Anyway, on the Dave, I wanted to mention on your Force CX350. Doesn't that have an odd power supply or an odd kilowatt voltage? I seem to remember it. I'm not sure about that. And you might want to consider looking out for CX250 heavy equipment. I think the Deans have the
I'm not sure about that. You might want to look it up. So, for testing anyway, if you don't have any good K50, you might want to say 250. I'm not sure how it works, but it's something to look at. And on the TCSs, I'm going to go vertical with these. I think I'm going to go ahead and make brackets to mount one on top of the other just to save space and a better chance of getting them on the air. 20 watts, I don't think anybody will hear me this time of year. Maybe over the winter I'll try putting them on the air and we'll see how things go. Anyway, 73 everybody, good net, and conditions are kind of up and down, but hearing most people. So, not sure if Tom's signed, so we'll send it over to him. If not, up to the top. And thank you for holding the net, as you usually do there, Chuck. WA6OPE, W6SSC, 73 on.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, Tom signed last go around there. Keep us abreast there, Steve, on your wife and how she's doing, and also your TCS activities. My set is mounted vertically as well for space saving, so it works well that way. And I've got the regular AC supply with it as well. Sometimes I run it on 15 watts, other times I turn on the amp and run it at 120, but it depends on, like you said, the conditions, and I agree with you. I think as we get into fall and fall into winter, we'll get these TCSs on and just have a little fun. So anyway, continued success with that project there, Steve. I'm sure you'll get everything up and running, and they're good looking little sets. So, anyway, all right, fellas. Well, I guess I'll close the net down for today, and I want to thank everybody for being there. Brown, have a safe trip back east, and give all the military fellows back there on the East Coast military net our best from the West Coast, and have a good, safe trip, and we'll talk to you again soon when you're back out here in Dixon. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for their participation. Invite everybody back next Sunday morning. Henry will be net control next Sunday, and with that, we'll turn the frequency back over to regular amateur use. So have a good day. Enjoy the day, fellas. Have a good week ahead, and try to stay cool. So we'll talk to you next Sunday morning. So this is K0DWC signing off and clear. 7-3, guys.
Well, thank you, Chuck, W7MS.
Hey, Mike, I forgot to comment on your microphone. That microphone sounds really different. I mean, it sounds really different in a good way. I mean, that's a cool sounding mic. So, my hats off to you there, my friend. That's a great audio coming out of that microphone.
Okay, well, thank you, and the best to you and Carla, and thanks for running the net. Yeah, this is Rockwell MM81, which is actually just a relabeled Telex hand microphone, noise-canceling hand microphone, but an absolute necessity with all the air movement through this power amplifier. But thanks again, and TCS's rule, especially in the vertical position.
Okay, man. All right, Mike. You enjoy the day there, my friend, and have a good week ahead, and we'll talk to you next weekend. So I'll be off and clear. This is K0DWC.